Hey folks, welcome back. Another PoMa video, and today we're going to talk about Sygna, Leon, and Eternatus over here, right? So Sygna, Leon, and Eternatus, they're a very interesting sync pair because obviously, again, they are the first max move unit, right? And the max move is interesting in terms of the fact that, first of all, it has very high power. You can only use it once per game. And in terms of multipliers, it doesn't actually get triggered by any of the regular move multipliers, but it does get triggered by universal multipliers. So stuff like Crit Strike 2, it gets triggered by it. So it's kind of like sync moves, right? It doesn't get triggered by sync move multipliers either, right? But it does get, again, triggered by Critical Strike and all that stuff. So stuff that like it doesn't apply is probably Ramming Speed, which he has, Hunter's Instinct, which he has, but yeah, those don't apply to Eternal Beam. So in terms of like its overall stuff, right? Good HP, really good speed, and you get +6 speed as well. So you could you easily run him on some dual striker team comps. Special attack stats not crazy, but it's not like bad either. Defenses aren't crazy either, but again, it's a striker. And yeah, in terms of your moves, you got Dynamax Cannon, which is basically like, here's the like big knock on Sygna Leon, unfortunately, is Dynamax Cannon. The power is not super high for a engaging move. Obviously, you get the extra 50%. Once you get that extra 50%, you're going to do a lot more. But a lot of times, most times, you will be ending the battle before the opponent sinks, right? And in that case, your damage just isn't that great, unfortunately, right? Unless you intentionally, give the opponent sync move countdown parameters, make them sink faster, which then does create some issues in terms of like what parameters you're picking, because if you're picking HP parameters, obviously that's just gonna make the battle longer, unnecessarily longer. If you pick, with offensive parameters, give like a sync buff, 50% sync buff, like after the sync, then you're gonna get destroyed, right, by the opponent. So it does, in terms of master mode wise, it does give you like some issues. Remember, like some parameters that you're picking, right? You're just not gonna be getting optimal clear times on those. But anyways, moving on. You basically buff every one of your stats offensively, right? You can max out your speed, max out your crit, max out your special attack, right? Sync move countdown -1 here as well. Then super effective up, which this, by the way, does apply to your max move. So you might want to save one for your max move, and then lowers your special defense by 1 as well. And then your sync move doesn't really do anything. Doesn't it's not like Hop or Glorious, where it also gets like a 2x multiplier. No, it doesn't. In terms of your passive, you have a lucky 750% chance of debuffing every one of these stats. Alright, max damage guard gives you a damage guard after you use your max move. Ramming speed extra 30%. Again, only on Dynamax Cannon, right? Only on Dynamax Cannon when you have max speed. So yeah, in terms of the lucky skill, again, Crit Strike 2, right? That's the only one that applies to your Dynamax Cannon, your sync move, and your Return Beam, right? Your I think it's called Return Beam, right? Your your max move. That's the only one that applies to all of them. So anyways, going into the grid, right? At 1 out of 5, pick up everything, basically. Move gauge refresh on X speed, because why not? And 2 out of 5, you don't really have much. I mean, you have a Hunter's Instinct, but honestly, Hunter's Instinct is just not that great. Just because like it's a very complicated team comp to like fit Hunter's Instinct in there, and I just feel like it's not worth it a lot of the times. Let's see what else can you have in here. Got move gauge refresh for Dynamax Cannon, so you probably want to pick up some of those. And that's kind of it. Like, you don't really need anything else, honestly. There's another Dynamax Cannon node. Just pick up some like stat nodes, I guess. Special attack here, speed, right? And this if you want. So that's basically it. I mean, if you want NPR on this, so you get an extra super effective up. I'm not sure if that's a great idea though, honestly. Let's see what else. Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, if you want endurance, you go for endurance. If you're really that scared, then sure. Unflappable if you're fighting something that has like Rock Slide, AoE flinches. That's kind of annoying, I guess. You have, I don't know. Honestly, I don't really care about special defense being lowered unless like you're just gonna get destroyed after you use your like trainer boot twice on like a special sync from your opponent. But yeah, 2 out of 5 you don't really have much either. 3 out of 5 is where you get most of your stuff, right? So down here you have inertia. If you're syncing with them, obviously you want inertia. If you're not syncing with them, then you don't want inertia, I guess. Here's the Eterna Beam power up. Extra 100 power on Eterna Beam, in my opinion. Pretty much, you know, pretty worth it, I'd say. Let's see. So yeah, again, his grid just really depends if you want inertia or not. If you don't want inertia, if you're not syncing with him, then you obviously have more options. If you are syncing with him, then you probably want to pick up this stuff, right? I'd probably go here. What else? If you want to save a tournament, you could like do this as well, but I'm not a huge fan. Just like use your training mover, bring another support, whatever, right? Because you probably could bring a support for like your team anyways, right? So what else? Again, you can go for Hunter's Instinct, I guess, right? It's just in terms of like what team comp, like if you, it would be nice if you have like Palatine's Arena. I won't worry too much about Hunter's Instinct. Like Palatine's Arena would be really, really nice with him because you get both speed and also Hunter's Instinct, right? So that would be nice if you're running those two together. But again, if you're not, then yeah. So if you're not syncing with Eternatus, then there's obviously other things you can pick up. Probably just more Dynamax Cannon nodes, so you do more damage on Dynamax Cannon, because again, you're not doing that much damage on Dynamax Cannon. You can also come down and pick up Power Flux if you want, right? Which I'd say generally a bit better than, or at least a bit easier to trigger than Hunter's Instinct. Obviously, you can pick up both, but again, I'm not sure if it's really worth it, right? You also get endurance over here as well if you want, right? Which is nice, I guess. So yeah, there's that. And again, you can also pick up Sharp Entry if that saves you an extra turn of buffing, right? In terms of the team comps over here, again, you could run him on a dual striker team, which is fine, right? You could run it with, for example, Champion Iris. In this case, you don't have to sync, so you don't have to pick up the sync nodes. You can pick up some other stuff. Although Hunter's Instinct, I mean, you're not really gonna debuff. You do have a 50% chance to debuff every single stat, but like that's gonna take you forever to get like to -6. So not that like you have to get to -6. Like if it's -3, -2, you still get some damage, right? But like I don't really think it's worth it. I think it'd probably be a bit more worth if you just pick up some Dynamax Cannon nodes here, right? But Champion Iris, right? Can also maybe help her debuff some of her stats every once in a while as well, right? Any other like these Dragon Strikers you could do for the most part, right? Again, we talked about Whimsicott. Whimsicott's a good one, right? Serena with Whimsicott, and over here obviously you don't, well, Bugsy would probably want Sabrina or something, right? So you give Whimsicott some crit as well, and obviously in this case you would also want to sync with Serena, so you don't have to sync with Leon either. There really aren't too many case scenarios where you actually want to sync with Leon over like any other damage deal that you're running on the team. Maybe like if you have like nothing and you're running like regular Iris or something, then sure you could sync with Leon. Or maybe like Sygna, but honestly I don't really feel like Sygna and Leon run that well together, just because Sygna you generally want to run on a weather team, right? But yeah, what else? What other Dragon type strikers? Dragonite? I don't know. Dragonite might be a bit tough to run with Leon, just because of move gauge issues, right? What else? Komodo, I guess same issue with Dragonite, right? Speed, but yeah, there definitely are options, right? Definitely are options that you could throw out there with Leon. Again, if you don't have Whimsicott, if you really just want to run Hunter's Instinct, don't have Whimsicott, you can just run other speed debuffers, right? In this case. So yeah, or you could bring any other units that could like buff speed, like maybe like Incineroar, right? Not that, again, you could still buff your own speed, but it just saves you, I guess, turns, so you could get to attacking a bit earlier. Incineroar, Eastern May, right? Those are all options. So anyways, that's maybe this one. I guess hope you all enjoyed. What you guys think in the comments below. Like, enjoy this video, subscribe to our channel for some more PoMa content. I'll see you guys in the next one then.